All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Unity Spiritual Center. I invite you to stand up because we're going to do a sing-along song. It's called I Am As God Created Me. And let's just sing the whole thing through, all three parts first. 1, 2, 3. This is part 1, everybody. I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. Part 2. In the light, in the love, in the glory of God I am. In the light, in the love, in the glory of God I am. This is part 3, everybody. In the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory I am. In the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, and the glory. In the light, in the love, and the glory I am. Okay, here's what's going to happen now. People on that side, you're going to sing with Becca. Just keep singing part 1. People in the middle, you're going to sing with Brian. And keep singing part 2. And then eventually I'll come in with part 3. Here we go.
I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. I am as God created me.
People in the middle, you're going to come in on part 2 with Brian.
In the glory.
In the light, in the love, in the glory of God I am. In the light, in the love, in the
Two parts
glory
going.
of
Part 3, come in with me
God I
now. Here
am.
we go. In the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory. Keep singing those parts. We're going to go a cappella with the drums. In the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the God I am. One time forward through. In the light, in the love, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory.
In the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the glory of God I am.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Wow, you all sound wonderful. Good morning, Unity family. And good morning, everybody online with us today. And if you are here for the very first time, and I know some of you are, we welcome you and we want you to know that we see you. We see your hopes, we see your dreams, we see your struggles, and most importantly, we see your light. And we are here to provide a safe place at Unity for you to grow spiritually. And therefore, whatever brought you here today, whether it's just curiosity, who are these crazy Unity people? Or whether you are seeking healing, spiritual growth, or looking for community, we pray that you will find it here. And because we want to get to know you, please make sure you join us for coffee after the service. So we are glad you are here with us. And if you did not get a welcome packet, please be sure to see the ushers. They will get you one. And for those of you who are joining us online, couple things. Please make sure you drop a hello in the chat so we can say good morning to you. And also for you people online who may not have heard yet, Unity Spiritual Center Albuquerque now has the opportunity to become a voting member of Unity Spiritual Center as a virtual congregant, because we are not contained by 4 walls. So if you are interested in that, you can go to our website, go to our app, or call us or email us, and we will let you know more about that. Okay, before I get into the announcements, which I really don't know what they are, so I'm glad we have slides. Let's pull out our phones and check in on social media. And our social media check-in today is connected to each other, because we are all part of the great web. And we'll be talking more about that in our lesson today. And of course, the lesson notes are in the church app, and I'm going to let you in on a little surprise. Last week when we had Keith Giles here, there was a slight possibility that he wouldn't be able to make it. And so I wrote another Spider-Man lesson. It's chapter 2.5. I will not be delivering it from the platform, but the notes will be live in the app after service today. So if you want to read 2.5 and you have the app, you can go there. I may publish it as a blog or something for people who don't have the app, if I get around to it. I will, I promise. So with that, any announcements that I don't make right now, you can find on our website, on our Facebook page. You can subscribe to our e-letter, and of course, the church app. And if you want help getting the app, let us know. We'll make sure we get you set up with that. Okay, now announcements, the big one. Yes, we are blessed today to have our good friend Brian Lotman, the wandering monk, return. Would you stand up, Brian? Yes. We are so glad you are with us today. Brian has been a wandering monk since 2012, just wandering around where Spirit leads him. And fortunately, a year ago, Spirit led him here. So we are delighted to have him back. He will be doing the meditation today. At 2 o'clock, he will be doing a ceremony meditation thing called Healing the Senses. So if you have a healing need, be here, 2 o'clock. And then tomorrow evening, he will be leading a satsang that begins at, we don't know what time, 5 p.m. Yes, 5 p.m. And if you haven't been to his satsang or haven't been to his satsangs, they're very powerful and deep. I highly encourage you to be here. I'm looking forward to it. All right. Also, Martine's prayer class begins March 4th at 2:30 in the afternoon. She'll be going over new material on Unity Affirmative Prayer, and this is a prerequisite for anybody who wants to be a chaplain. If you just want to learn more about how we pray in Unity, be sure and take that class. Okay? And we have a new thing starting on Wednesdays, beginning March 4th, at noon, from noon to 2 o'clock, just an informal gathering of anybody who wants to come and have some coffee, have some tea, maybe have a little bit of food. We might have some refreshments, play a game, talk, whatever. We'll have that available every Wednesday at noon. And it's free to the public. Bring your friends, bring anybody. Unity Explorers Hike is, I believe, the Grassy Hills Hike this coming Saturday at 9. We'll meet at 9 a.m. right here in the parking lot. And, oh, good, I got them all. Yay! All right. One other announcement. As you know, we are doing our series called Weaving the Web of Life, based on Spider-Man. Some of you heard the story about how that happened, because that's not usually a church topic, but there's a lot of wisdom that can be gained from these stories. Today, we'll be exploring that deeper, but I decided to have a little bit of fun, as you may have heard, and Spider-Man is hidden somewhere in the building. That's a little Spider-Man action figure. He's where everybody can see him. He's not in an office, and he's not in the bathrooms, and he's not in the kitchen either. But he's around somewhere, and if you spot him and let me know you found him, preferably by email during the week, we will enter you in a drawing for a prize. How cool is that? And I have to say, I didn't know how this would go over. I'm amazed at how many of you have that inner child that is playing. I'm so excited. There will be a prize for an adult, a prize for a teen, and a prize for a little kid. So, and we'll be giving that prize out the Sunday after the series ends. So keep your eyes open and let me know if you find Spider-Man. Okay, and I think I am done. I am. So I am going to invite up our trustee of the day, which is Darcy.
Good morning, everyone. So we've got Joseph, one of our newest board members, and he's shadowing today. So I'm just kind of showing him the ropes a little bit. So our mission, vision, and core values. Our mission, we inspire spiritual growth through honoring education, prayer, sacred service, and abundant living. Our vision, centered in love. we see a harmonious world of divine expression. Core values: we are Christ-centered, loving, inclusive, joyous, uplifting, open-minded, and fun. And our credo: we believe all people are created with sacred worth. We serve all people in emotional and in spiritual ways. We welcome the diversity of all, God and unity, leave no one out. And a few ways to give. The Church Center app is something I often use. It's very easy to use. And then obviously in person, online, and by text. And we also have a QR code. Our offering blessing: divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God.
1, 2, 3, 4. Everything is connected to everything else, to the stars, the moon, the sun. The beauty lies in how it all fits together, because everything is really one. Everyone is connected to everyone else, of every color, creed, and tongue. The beauty lies in how we all touch each other's lives, because everything is really one. Like a simple melody, the tune can be sung in any key. Everything in the world is in harmony. Let the music wash over me. Everything is connected to everything else, to the stars, the moon, the sun. The beauty lies in how it all fits together, because everything is really one. Everything is really one. Thank you.
So the prosperity dedication: in a universe overflowing with the allness of God, all the needs and desires of Unity Spiritual Center and those we serve are bountifully met from every direction, known and unknown, expected and unexpected. Our abundant good is here now. Thank you, God.
Thank you. All right, it's time for a congregational song, so I invite you to stand up. we're doing the series is called Weaving the Web of Life, and today we're connected to each other. So this is Weave, one of the big unity songs from our hymn book. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here we go.
Weave us together in unity and love. Weave us together together in love. We are many textures, we are many colors, each one different from the other. But we are entwined with one another in one great tapestry. Weave us together in unity and love. Weave us together together in love. We are different instruments playing our own melodies, each one tuned to a different key. But we are all playing in harmony in one great tapestry. Weave us together.
Not only do we weave, but we sway.
Weave us together together in love.
A moment ago, still we did not know our unity, only diversity. Now the Christ in me greets the Christ in me in one great family. Weave us together in unity and love. Weave us together together in love. Thank you. Usually an intro, but we can just start.
In this very room, there's quite enough love for one like me. And in this very room, there's quite enough joy for one like me. And there's quite enough hope and quite enough power to chase away any gloom. For Spirit, God's Spirit, is in this very room.
Connection. I honor my connection with all people, no matter how great the distance that exists between the people I care about, between me and the people I care about. I know we are connected by our love for one another. We are one and identical in our divinity. Today, I renew and strengthen this connection by reaching out, even if it's only to let someone know that I care about them and I'm thinking of them. Our connection is kept strong through meditation and prayer. As I meditate, I reinforce my awareness of our divinity. As I pray for those I care about, I bless them
by holding my highest vision for their lives, seeing them as healthy, prosperous, happy, and fulfilled. Whether we're in frequent contact or have fallen out of touch, my connection with my loved ones remains strong because we are one and identical in our divinity. I honor my connection with all people.
Om, Om. So you can sing with me this mantra, Purnam Sarnam. Purnam, P-U-R-N-A-M, Sarnam. Purnam means wholeness. Follow me. Take in 11 deep breaths in and out through the nose slowly, breathing in the light of that mantra. Last deep breath. Release. Just set our intention to tune in to the presence right now. Diving deeper and deeper into meditation. Just gently coming back. Placing our hands in prayer position together. Chant the mantra Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, sending peace to all beings in this world. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Brian. It was beautiful.
Sue Hauser. I'm a prayer chaplain today, along with Carol Chambers. If you have a prayer request, something you would like to pray about, we are available at the close of the service. Also, there are prayer request slips in the seat pockets in front of you. If you fill one of those out and leave it at the prayer box in the foyer, the prayer chaplains will receive your prayer request and hold it in sacred prayer for 30 days.
In this very room, there's quite enough love for all the world. And in this very room, there's quite enough joy for all the world. And there's quite enough hope and quite enough power to chase away any gloom. For Spirit, God's Spirit, God's Spirit is in this very room.
Well, we have Becca Grant with us today with the band. And Becca has a song from Terry Wilder. Terry Wilder used to live in Santa Fe, and she'd come down every now and then, but she moved to California, and I lost touch with her. I don't know what's happening with Terry, but this is a great song called I Never Dance Alone.
Well, sometimes I do, but mostly not.
Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4.
So feel free to get up and dance. Yes, Chris, where are you? I can't stop the music. It's like the blood pumping through my veins. And I can't help but move to the sound of the pounding rain. Now I can't help but see all the love surrounding me. And I can't forget that I never dance alone. and I won't lose my groove to the sound of the pounding rain. And I won't fail to see all the love that comes to me. And I won't forget, I never dance alone. I will never forget, I never dance alone. I never dance alone.
Becca Grant and Brian Griesmeyer. Thank you.
Thank you, Becca and Soulshine Band. Wow. I just always appreciate how you all come up with the perfect music to go with the lesson. And by the way, here's a little bit of trivia. Any T-Mobile users out there, or have been in the past? The voice you hear that says you have 5 voice messages or 12 missed calls or whatever, that's Terry Wilder. So many of us have heard her. Many of us were blessed when she lived in Santa Fe to hear her sing in person. All right, today we do chapter 3 of our series, Weaving the Web of Our Life, based on the Spiderman story, if you will. The first week, we talked about power. With great power comes great responsibility, and we all have power to influence our world, to create our lives, to change the world. And then 2 weeks ago, we talked about removing our masks, because we want to be authentic. We want to be our true selves. So today, we are going to widen the lens, because none of the work that we do spiritually is meant to be private. We do the work privately, but what we create ripples outward, whether we intend for it to or not. We are not self-contained spiritual projects. We live in a world that is connected. We are all a living strand in the web. You know, one of the deepest illusions that human beings have in our consciousness is this idea of separation. It extends even to religion. We think God is up there, I am down here, and somebody else is down there. But in truth, we know that God lives, moves, and breathes through all of creation, through every single one of us, and I believe through every piece of the created universe. So this idea of separation is an illusion held in our consciousness. We are all a strand in the web of life. We have this idea, I am me, you are you. My life is my responsibility. What is to be is up to me. How many of you grew up with messages like that? I remember when I was a little kid, probably about Riley's age there, and one of the first things we learned was rhythm. And one of the rhythms we learned was paddle your own canoe, paddle your own canoe. I have paddled canoes. It's really hard to paddle your own canoe. It's so much easier when you have help, when you're part of a team, when you're part of a group. So we begin in unity, always with a radically different premise. And that premise is our core foundational belief. There is only one presence and one power active in the universe and in my life, God the good omnipotent. One power, one presence that shows up as all of us, as all of humanity, as all of creation. Not many. One life expressing in many different forms. Our co-founder, Charles Fillmore, taught that divine substance is everywhere present, and that what we call the individual is an expression of one universal life. Martha Smock, another great teacher, wrote that spiritual awakening reveals the unity of all life in and as God. Not metaphorically, actually. The sense of isolation, then, is not the ultimate reality. It is a limited perception. Eric Butterworth wrote a lot about spiritual maturity, and this is what he was talking about. We are spiritually mature when we realize and live as a piece of a greater whole. Spiritual maturity revolves around recognizing our interconnectedness. And that spiritual journey moves us forward from me-centered living to God-centered awareness. Now you may be asking, well, what is God-centered awareness? It is the awareness that the same life that breathes in me breathes in you. And the same life that breathes in us breathes in people all over the world, in other countries, in space, at the space station. Wherever there is life, it breathes. Butterworth also wrote this: you cannot rise above the consciousness of the whole, nor can you separate yourselves from it. Now, I struggle with that first part. You cannot rise above the consciousness of the whole. There is some truth in that, but there's also, I believe, a little bit of unclarity in that. I believe we can lift up the whole. We can rise up. And that as we rise up, we help the entirety of creation and the entirety of humanity specifically to rise up as well. Remember that teaching of Jesus that said, when I am lifted up, I draw all others to me? That wasn't an egocentric person saying, when I am put up on a pedestal, everybody else rises too. What he was saying is when our consciousness of that Christ energy that he modeled and he taught is lifted up in us, it lifts up those around us. And when it's lifted in somebody else, we are lifted up. We are all one. We are part of the entirety of what is happening in our world and in our nation right now. Oh, that could be a little scary. But we are. We are part of the whole. Our thoughts then impact the whole. They are not private. Our attitudes are not isolated. Our choices are not ours alone. You know, in the Buddhist tradition, there's a wonderful metaphor that talks about this called Indra's net. And it describes the universe as an infinite wave of jewels and a web, kind of like a spider's web. And where the strands of the web come together, there is a jewel that reflects every other jewel in the web. We are like that. Nothing or no one exists independently. Everything and everyone is a reflection of everything else. So like Becca sang, we cannot dance alone. We never dance alone. Even if we're just in our house by ourselves, with the dog looking at you like you're nuts. You're still not dancing alone. We are dancing with all of creation. I like this. You cannot be by yourself alone. You inter-are. I like that phrase, inter-are. Let me give you a metaphor of how entwined we are with all of creation. Imagine you're holding a piece of paper just like this. All right, the whole pile of paper. No, there we go. Imagine you're holding a piece of paper. It's a piece of paper with some ink on it. But it's so much more. It is the sun. It is the rain. It is the logger that harvested the wood pulp. It is the people who designed and built the sawmill and the paper mill. It is the trucker that hauled the paper to Staples or wherever you got it. It is literally millions and millions and millions of people and all of creation that you are holding in your hand. That's how connected we all are. You could do that with a piece of bread. Think about how many lives have gone into that little piece of bread that you are eating. You are not alone. You inter-are. In unity, we would say the same thing in a slightly different language. We would say the Christ is indivisible life, and we are all part of that Christ. That's why we say namaste. That's why we say, I behold the Christ in you, because that Christ energy that Jesus modeled and showed us and taught us is in all of us. We are members of one another, not loosely associated members. We are cells in one body, branches in one vine, and strands in one web. Now, the neat thing about all of these great ancient mystical teachings is science is backing them up now. Modern science is echoing all of this. Quantum physics speaks of something called entanglement. How many of you have heard that phrase, entanglement? Particles, once connected, influence identical particles clear on the other side of the earth. The vibration that my voice is creating in this room right now is vibrating with particles on the quantum level somewhere else, in harmony. Neuroscience confirms that our brains develop in relationship. I love the African saying, because you are, I am. That's Ubuntu. Because you are, I am. Every one of you influences me. And hopefully I influence you a little bit. Then there's something called attachment theory. Attachment theory shows that we regulate and mature through connection. It is through our connection as little children to our parents and grandparents and family, and then it expands to our teachers and our friends, and then it expands to our coworkers, and so on. That's why we come together in community here. Because it allows that connection. It allows us to uplift and support and inspire one another. Even biology reveals that ecosystems are built on intricate networks of mutual dependence. So this is not sentimental poetry. It is structure in reality. But with all structures, including the web, there's a shadow side. Because a web amplifies whatever moves through it. So if fear is put into the web, it moves through the web. Anger spreads through the web. But likewise, compassion spreads through the web. Hope spreads. You know, we've seen how quickly in our world today outrage can just blossom, I guess, and grow in an instant. How rapidly misinformation multiplies. How easily division grows. Jung warned that when individuals do not integrate their shadow, it spills into the collective. The collective shadow then becomes cultural conflict. Do you begin to see on the spiritual level what's happening in our world? If we don't do our shadow work as individuals, as societies, as nations, as a people, it spills into the web. Now, the good news is if we do our shadow work, it spills into the web. And that's where healing happens. If I don't examine my own fear, I may project it outward. I may contribute to the collective aggression because the web magnifies what we refuse to examine until we are forced to examine it, which is why power, authenticity, and regulation had to come first in this series. By the way, regulation is that 2.5 lesson I was talking about. So if you want to go back, you can do that later. Those had to come first. The understanding of what power truly is. Taking off the mask and being authentic. Regulating ourselves. All had to come first because what we bring into the web multiplies. And we are about healing the web. Look at Jesus. What did Jesus do? He expanded the web. He touched the untouchable. He ate with the excluded. He crossed tribal boundaries. He redefined neighbor. And in a culture that was structured by separation, he embodied connection. Not just shallow intolerance, but radical inclusion. He understood that to harm one piece of the web, one strand of the web, affects the whole. That is Christ consciousness. When we talk about Christ consciousness, that's what we're talking about. Not sentimentality, but spiritual realism. You know, it's very easy to disconnect. I hear a lot of people nowadays, well, I just can't deal with what's going on in the world. I'm just going to unplug and disconnect. And if you're plugged into social media and all that and it's dragging you down, then yeah, it's probably a good idea to step back. But you can't completely disconnect. It's not possible. You're part of the web. It's easy to label, to reduce, to dismiss, but it's harder to remain connected in tension. Spiritual maturity, though, does not require agreement. It requires recognition. It requires recognition. Recognition that beneath ideology, beneath personality, beneath behavior, beneath beliefs, there is one life. One life. We're all connected. We're all a part of that. It's a part of us. Martha Smock invited us to see beyond the appearances and look to divine essence. When we can do that, hostility softens. Division softens. We begin to build a conscious connection. We begin to recognize that everybody really is doing the best they can with what they've got. And then we begin to heal and lift each other up. Butterworth reminded us that resentment binds us to what it is we resist. Think about that. Resentment binds us to resistance, and we know what resistance does. Resistance is unhealthy. It creates tension. In an electrical circuit, it burns out the circuit. Connection freeze. Connection freeze. It does not ask us to approve of every strand. It asks us to remember that we are a part of the entirety. So how do we do that? How do we move into this web consciousness and really begin to feel our connection and really begin to heal it? Well, you want to try it? Shall we practice? All right, I invite you to close your eyes for a moment. Take a slow breath. And imagine that you are connected to every other living thing on earth. Imagine yourself as a luminous strand in a vast web of light. Feel your life connected. Connected backwards through all of your ancestors. Parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, great-grandparents 1,000 times. Imagine that web of light connecting you to your teachers, to influences. Feel that connection. And now feel it connected forward to those you will affect even unknowingly, to the future generations that inherit your DNA, not just your physical DNA, but your conscious DNA. See these threads extending from you to family, to friends, to colleagues, to community. And now, be brave. See those strands extending to those you disagree with, to those who hold different opinions and different ideas. Notice any resistance. Breathe. Breathe into that resistance. Breathe into that strand. And imagine a divine light moving through the entire web, not originating from you alone, but flowing through you. See its warmth, see its light, feel its warmth. See it connecting to different people who have different ideas of politics, of society, different ways of living. See that light flowing between all. And silently affirm, I am not separate from life. I am one. I strengthen the web through love. I release the illusion of separation. I choose conscious connection. I choose conscious connection. Rest for a moment in that. I choose conscious connection. A few minutes ago, we sang a song called Weave. And the line, weave us together in one great tapestry of love. Many colors, many instruments, all coming together to create symphony of sound, tapestry of light, and a web of love. And take a breath. And that is how we do it. That is how we do it. When we forget, when our world around us is shouting loud over how different we are and who's right and who's wrong, who's good and who's bad, we remember that we are one web of life. And that within that web is all possibility of oneness, all possibility of healing, all possibility of love. We've talked about the hero within, which will be the title of next week's lesson. The hero within is not independent. The hero within understands something called interdependence. I like that word, interdependence. You know, we celebrate every July Independence Day, which is good, it's wonderful. I'm not putting that down at all, but what if we had a holiday that was Interdependence Day? When we recognize how closely connected we are to one another and how interdependent we are on one another. When we remember that strength is not isolation, it is contribution. Strength is not isolation, it is contribution. And it is contribution when enough people remember and claim their power. When enough of us remove our masks and regulate our responses. When enough of us choose connection over separation. When that happens, the web becomes resilient. The world shifts. Not because of one extraordinary hero who steps up and saves it, but because ordinary people remember they belong to something larger than themselves. My friends, you are not a loose thread. You are a living strand in a sacred web. And every thought you choose, every word you speak, every connection you honor, every act of courage you embody, you are weaving. And when you weave with awareness, wisdom, and love, the web holds. Namaste. And now, before we do the music, I would like to invite up our board of directors, our 2026 board of directors. As you all know, a few weeks ago, we elected our new board, and today we are going to induct them. So, each of you gets a candle. So the first thing I am going to do is light the candles of the board members who have been on for a year or more. Rob Trella, Sue Eaton, and Darcy. Almost went out there. Oh, no, not you. So to our existing board members, you've expressed your willingness to serve in the capacity for which you have been selected. This willingness reveals that you know and accept the truth that you are a child of God, that everyone is a child of God, and you are part of the great web. And in accepting that truth, you know that your purpose becomes to express more of God in your life. To you is given the responsibility to express the God-given qualities and gifts that with that your own life and the lives of those whose lives you touch. We acknowledge this sacred commitment. We honor your willingness to bless this Unity Spiritual Center through your service on our board of directors. And as you serve in this capacity, will you always look to the indwelling Christ Spirit for wisdom, guidance, and inspiration? You say, I will. Hopefully you do. Now, having accepted the trust placed in you by the membership of Unity Spiritual Center, do you now consecrate and dedicate yourself to living and expressing the unity principles and promoting the growth and welfare of the unity movement and of this spiritual center? Okay. Now, will you please light the incoming board members' candles? Andrea, Sue, Darcy, and Joseph. Now that you have accepted the trust placed in you by the membership of Unity Spiritual Center and the current board, do you now consecrate and dedicate yourself to living and expressing the unity principles and promoting the growth and welfare of the unity movement and of this Unity Spiritual Center? Will you all join me in prayer? We know and we acknowledge that it is the Christ Spirit that is the head of this church and of our individual lives. May we always be guided by the wisdom of that light. We are grateful for the love and dedication of these dear ones who have accepted the call to serve. Amen. As we empower you to act in this important position, not only do you oversee the business affairs of this church, but your individual and collective awareness establish a consciousness for the entire congregation. And recognizing the authority we now entrust to you, we charge you with this responsibility. So, to the 2026 Board of Directors, do you promise to follow the light of truth, seeking at all times to be aware of what is right rather than who is right? You don't sound overly enthusiastic. Say we do. That's better. To our president, Darcy, will you do all within your power to lead this congregation into the path of unity, demonstrating such a strength and steadfastness, purpose, and practice, that this community shall stand as a shining light of truth to the world? Good. Yeah. Thank you. And now, will the voting members of this church stand if you are able? You, who are voting members of this community, are the voice of this community. You are the ambassadors of unity to the community. You are the backbone and the volunteers giving service. Do you promise to uphold and practice the principles of truth moment by moment? Yes. Do you promise to uphold the vision of this community? Yes. If you have a differing opinion, do you promise to meditate first, think secondly, and speak lastly? I know that's a hard one for a lot of us, isn't it? We do this to the best of our ability. Do you promise to give of your time, talent, and treasure to this beloved activity known as Unity? Yes. Thank you. You may be seated. Now, through the authority vested in me by our Unity headquarters and acting on behalf of the congregation, I install this board of the 2026 Board of Trustees, here and now, as the minister of Unity Spiritual Center on the 22nd day of February, with all of the rights, privileges, and obligations appertaining to your new position. Let us pray. We affirm that God's peace is with you as you teach, heal, and serve this congregation. May the love of God dwell richly in your heart. May your labor be fruitful, and may this ministry be a light unto the world. Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the newly formed team of the Unity Board of Trustees. Please join me in acknowledging them. Do we have flowers? Do we have flowers? Oh, okay. No, those are Brian's. We pretend you have flowers. Thank you. So Rob is our vice president. Sue is our treasurer. Andrea is upside down. And a minister and a member at large. Susan is our member at large. Secretary, that's right, yes. Darcy is our president, and Joseph is our member at large. Our Board of Trustees. Thank you. You may be seated. Now we'll have a song.
All right, we're going to feature Brian on a song by John Mayer.
It's called Waiting on the World to Change. And what I like about this song is I think the message is actually you can't wait for the world to change, because that gives away your power to change the world. 1, 2, 3, 4. Me and all my friends, we're all misunderstood. They say we stand for nothing and there's no way we ever could. Now we see everything that's going wrong with the world and those who lead it. We just feel like we don't have the means to rise above and beat it. So we keep on waiting, waiting on the world to change. We keep on waiting, waiting on the world to change. It's hard to be persistent when you're standing at a distance. So we keep on waiting, waiting on the world to change. Now if we had the power to bring our neighbors home from war, they would have never missed a Christmas. There'd be no ribbons on their door. What you get is what you got when you believe your television. 'Cause when they ban the information, if they control it all they want. So we keep on waiting, waiting on the world to change. We keep on waiting, waiting on the world to change. It's not that we don't care, we just know the fight ain't fair. So we keep on waiting, waiting on the world to change. change. We keep on waiting, waiting on the world to change. One day our generation is gonna rule the population. So we keep on waiting, waiting on the world to change. Now we keep on waiting, waiting on the world to change. We keep on waiting, waiting on the world to change. Waiting on the world to change. Waiting on the world to change. Waiting on the world to change.
Thank you, Brian.